Hello, and thanks for joining us again today. Our webinar this month, we're taking a back seat and instead have brought in a special guest to join us today. Every now and then, we like to feature people in the community whose businesses or services can be helpful to our clients and just give them a chance to talk about what they do. With us today is Gina Ballestrasse-Ernster, owner of Smooth Moves by Gina, based in Marion. They serve clients in Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, and the surrounding areas. Gina is a senior move manager, and her business helps seniors and their families with moving, downsizing, and organizing of their possessions. She also helps with preparing homes for sale and the management of the home through the sales process, including final cleaning and touch-ups of the home after a sale. Gina, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Matt. I appreciate it.
Well, good. Well, tell us a little bit more about what you do at Smooth Moves.
Okay, great. Basically, what we do is pretty much anything to assist our clients with moving. So that could be downsizing or decluttering in preparation for your home for sale. So we would prepare and help you declutter. And if we needed to pack things, we pack things. If someone's moving, we actually do all the packing and hire the movers, move everything in, unpack you, and put everything away. We even wash your sheets and make up your beds and hang your pictures. That's generally, we do that for a variety of people, mostly seniors, and a lot of times they're moving from their home, possibly to a senior community. So it's a lot of downsizing. And then on the other side of that, once they have moved, and their families have come and picked what they wanted from their homes, etc., then we go ahead and we go in and we disperse the estate. And we have a lot of variety of ways. I have a shop in Czech Village called Harlequin Home. It's a consignment store, a very nice store. So some of the items are taken there. I have relationships with several different other consigners, and so we'll put items in those stores and so forth. And then we also use social media. So we have a variety of ways of how we disperse people's estates.
Oh, that's great. So how long have you been doing this, and what made you want to get into this industry?
Okay. I've been doing it. This is my 13th year. And what made me get into it is many years ago, a friend of mine asked me to help her with a house. And I had always done antiques since I moved here from San Francisco. And I've always had like a little antique space at a shop or two. And she had asked me to assist her. And I realized that I had a knack for like knowing, oh, this could be sold. Oh, this could go to donate. Okay, this could do that. So I wrote a business plan in 2008. And I sat on my business plan and I thought I was a genius. And I thought no one had ever thought of this before, but come to find out there are, thousands of senior move managers. And this goes way back, probably like about 25 years. I was a first senior move manager. And so I sat on it for a while and then decided to start my business in 2010. But because of my friend, that incited me to, I'm like, this could really be a business. This is something I'm really good at. I have a business degree and I worked in fashion when I lived in San Francisco. So I did a lot of like having to do design and move things and that type of thing. So it's really helped with what I do now.
That's great. Oh, interesting. And so for your business then, what's overview, just the general process when someone calls up and asks about your services? What should they expect the experience to be like? What are the steps? How do you get started?
Sure. Generally, when someone calls me, generally over the phone, I'll give them just some general information. People have questions about what it is specifically we do or how we can help them. And usually I'll do a free consultation, or not usually, every time I do a free consultation. So I'll make an appointment to go out to the client's home and then discuss with them what their needs are. And part of that is actually looking around the house and discovering, okay, what it is they really need, and then helping them decide if they're moving, what they can bring, how much they can bring, what they need to do with other things, that type of thing. So basically the step is once I go over, then I speak with them and get a good general idea of what their needs are. And then once we do that, I usually will write an estimate for them and send them an estimate as to what the cost would be to facilitate all the things that they need. And then Once we do that, usually they send a deposit and sign the contract, and then we begin our work. We set a date, and if they have a specific date they need, we always try to accommodate the date. And in addition, if they have a deadline as far as when they need to have the house cleaned out and that type of thing. So we always try to work within the customer's parameters.
Sure. Great. So how do you charge for your service when you give that quote?
Usually by the hour. And it does vary depending on what we're doing. And some people who are more seasoned, we charge more for than people who are brand new and so forth. So usually it's an hourly rate. But my contract, when I send a contract, it's all broken down. So if we're doing a move, it will tell you how much the move is going to be, including the movers. Of course, it is an estimate, but I've been doing it a long time, so I'm pretty accurate. And then in addition, there'll be, if we're cleaning out their house or dispersing their house, then there'll be an estimate for that and a total and so forth. So it's pretty detailed, and it tells you exactly what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And that's all contained in my contract.
Great. So what makes for a successful experience for your clients? What can they do to help make the process easy? What should they stay out of the way of? What's helpful for them?
I think probably the most important thing for a client to make it a smooth transition, honestly, is just being in the right mindset and really wanting to move. I know it's one of the hardest things to do. If you look on the top 10 list of stressful things, moving is one of them. Then put in that you're a senior and maybe you have some health issues. It makes it very, very difficult. So I think being in the right mindset and then just be willing to let people help you. I think hiring somebody who's objective is really helpful because we don't have any attachment to anything. And so it really helps with when we're dispersing things or trying to help them decide what goes, what stays, and that type of thing.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So what are some of the hardest things for people to get rid of? And do you have any advice just to help them get through that process?
Sure. I think it depends. Of course, we've moved probably thousands of clients now in 13 years, or we have moved thousands. I think probably when people have collections, that makes it really difficult. Or if people have traveled, those things sometimes are attached to those things. I mean, everyone has their thing, if you will, that they're attached to. It might be a collection of dolls. Yesterday I was at a home and she had a huge collection of dolls, which are not something that are really great sellers. So first thing I tell client is ask your family. If anybody, is interested in having the collection or in some of the collection. The great thing about having us do it is we do have a lot of resources to sell different things. But honestly, going through the collection or whatever it is and deciding, okay, what are the best of the best? So when you're going from, a 3,500 square foot home to 800 square feet, you can't bring everything. So maybe taking the best of the best. So if you have a collection of 1,000 soldiers, you might take 5 of your best soldiers and take those and then, disperse with the rest of them. So it really is about being in the right mindset and just being able to detach. And I always tell people it is just stuff, but many of our clients are very attached to their items. And also starting with things that are easy. So if your collection is probably not going to be the easiest thing because you've collected it for 40 years, maybe you go through your dish towels or you go through your clothes, whatever's going to be the easiest thing for you that's not going to cause you stress. So that would be my recommendation, is for people to start with something that's going to be simple for them. So, it could be bathroom towels. It could be, because we all end up with a lot of extra things we actually don't need. So another great one is canned goods. That's an easy to go through all your canned goods because everybody always has expired things in their pantry. So that's a good one to do. And there's a lot of great food pantry places that you can drop food for the homeless if you have extra and so forth. And prescriptions. So those are like some super easy ones to do. And prescriptions, if they're expired, you can bring them to your drugstore or you can bring them to the police station and they have a drop that you can drop them in. So those are like some easy things that people can start with that aren't going to be too overwhelming for them.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. All right. And so, if someone's interested in your services, they know they need your help. When's the right time for them to reach out to you?
Generally, the sooner the better, because, example, if you're moving, for example, we have a lot of people, there's a new community opening in sometime in the fall. And so I've had quite a few people reach out now. We're in May. And so it's never too early to start, because I think if someone's going to be moving, to start the process is going to make it easier in the long run for them to move, because they're getting in the right mindset. So maybe we start with like decluttering, or maybe helping them go through things that they know that they don't want, the garage, whatever it is. And I think that really, really helps with that process.
Great. Well, where can people learn more about you? Is your website the best? Where can they learn more?
We do have a website. We do have a Facebook page. People are more than welcome to call me. A lot of our clients are through referral. So a lot of times a former client will tell somebody else about us, and then that's how we get a lot of our businesses, through former clients that have been happy with our services. But basically the website, or just giving a call. I'm always happy to, talk to people and explain what it is we do, because I don't think people really quite understand. I know sometimes when we move people, they're astounded when they actually get to the other side and their apartment's all set up, and they walk in and it looks like their house, or a smaller version of their house.
Oh, that's great. Well, then lastly, just besides you and your website, of course, are there any other resources that would be helpful for someone considering a senior move manager? Are there associations, books, other websites that would be helpful?
Yes, there's lots of great ways to downsize. I belong to the National Association of Senior Move Managers, which is based out of Illinois. And with belonging to that, you follow a certain code of ethics. So ideally, you would contact somebody. Basically, you just have to put in your zip code, and on the website, on the NASM website, and it'll pull up all the senior move managers in your area and pictures, and it'll show you who's available. That's one good thing. And there's lots of great places here in the community to donate to. If you have furniture that you don't want, we will usually try to sell it, but sometimes we'll go ahead and donate it, whatever's more cost effective. So there's Central Furniture Rescue. There's lots of great places, like I said, churches for food pantries. There's a lot of great places around here. There's books. You can go out on Amazon and look up downsizing. Several of my colleagues have written books on downsizing, right sizing, ways to start, and so forth. So there really is, if you go out and just Google, there's a lot of great information. There's information on all sorts of different things. So I think probably the best thing to do is just hop on your computer and do a Google search, and you'll find all sorts of resources.
All right. Well, great, Gina. This was great. I think very helpful for people just to learn more about what you do. Anything else? Anything I didn't ask that would be helpful for people to know?
No, just thank you for allowing me to talk with you. And I think, honestly, the best thing people can do is just be in the right mindset, because it is a difficult process. And that's one of the things, you have to be really compassionate, because people are moving from a home that maybe they've lived in 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and it's a difficult transition. So we try to just be compassionate and patient and really help as much as we can to get them from point A to point B.
All right. Great. Thank you, Gina.
Thank you.